right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily Dementias podcast. I am your host, Smitty, back with another one, man. And today I am joined by speech and language pathologist, the corporate speech coach, my good friend, Lachana. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, Jordan. I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm. You nervous?
A little bit.
That's all right.
A little bit nervous, a little bit excited.
We're going to get you through it. I promise you it's going to be painless.
Awesome.
We got you. So jumping right into it, where can everybody find you? What's your social media, your website, all that good stuff?
Yeah, thank you. So my website is corporatespeechcoach.com. Pretty easy. So my business is Corporate Speech Coach. I am a speech and language pathologist. My social media, personal Instagram is Hey Lachana, so just Hey and then my name. And then my business Instagram is also Corporate Speech Coach. So I try to make it easy for everybody to find me.
Isn't it beautiful as a business person when the social media and the website, like everything just matches up?
Yes.
And you don't got to put like an underscore or nothing crazy after some numbers
like that.
Yeah.
And then, when I send my invoices, it's Corporate Speech Coach. Everything is all the same.
And I promise you the name is the hardest thing, it feels like.
It's so hard to name it.
When it all lines up, it's like, yeah, God wanted this to happen.
Exactly. They're all available at the same time.
Yes.
It's like, all right, we got it.
So now getting into it, because before having a conversation with you earlier, I wasn't aware or fully aware. What exactly is a speech and language pathologist and what do they do?
Great question. So a lot of people don't know what we do. But we are a wide range of things. So on the one hand, we could work in, nursing homes, hospitals, clinics, schools, the VA, all over the place. We can do private practice at home. So we can work with older adults, kids, middle age, like adolescents. We do stuttering therapy. We do expressive language, receptive language. Like some kids, they're born with learning disabilities and they can't even understand following directions. So we help them with that. A lot of kids that are autistic, we have to help them learn how to be social. So we do social skills. We do stuttering with children and with adults. And then on the older generation side, we do like post-stroke patients, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, like swallowing difficulties, speaking difficulties, traumatic brain injury. We help them get their memory back. So it's a wide range of stuff that we do. We're everywhere. And then as a corporate speech coach, so that is a very specific area of our field that a lot of people
niching down a little bit.
Yes, a lot of people don't know about it. They actually don't teach us about it in grad school. But as the corporate speech therapy side, we're able to do training in presentation skills, like personal development, public speaking, helping managers know how to talk with their employees without offending them.
That's a big one.
Which is very,
they
very
be offensive,
important.
a little passive aggressive in there.
Exactly. So teaching them how to communicate, because you can become a manager, but you don't really know how to be a manager.
Yeah.
So we teach in leadership skills. We do a lot of accent modification. So, switching your accent around to match wherever you're living. For example, like if you come from Texas and you're giving a presentation in New York, you want to get rid of all the y'alls and the howdy. So we train in that too. There's a wide range of stuff.
Man, I think it might have been easier to say, what don't y'all do?
Because y'all
do everything.
I would have had like two things that we don't do. Probably like, changing dressings and people, the patients in the hospital. That's about it.
Man,
Everything else we do.
So you mentioned one thing, accent modification. How do you feel about accent modification from a standpoint of like, is it important because you need people to better understand you, or should people just like accept how you talk? Am I phrasing that the right way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If they should just accept
like accept me for me.
Your accent is.
Like it's changing my accent, saying I'm trying to fit in.
Yes. Okay. And
that
kind of
like
that
thing.
social identity stuff. Yeah, that's deep. I love that question. So it's a combination of a lot of things. It also depends on the person. So for example, like us as like, in the Black community, we are fluent in vernacular English. And like,
absolutely.
Sometimes, it's great when we're with our families, but depending on the job setting that you're trying to go into, I don't want to say that you have to change yourself completely, but there are different things that you have to do in order to be successful in like any industry, right? So for example, let's say you're coming from a Dominican Republic background and you have a Spanish accent. So when you go to your interview, you want them to understand you and accept you. So you don't have to change who you are as a person. It's like, oh, like I'm Dominican, but now I'm trying to be American and forgetting my roots.
Yeah.
But it's more of, let me articulate my words in a way that they're going to receive it and not have to continue asking, like, oh, what did he say? Like, I heard an R, but I also heard an S. You know what I mean? And then you still keep your personality so that can shine through, but they understand your English.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And then now on the receiving end of it, do you do anything to help people better understand accents? Is that a thing?
Yes, that is a thing.
See, we learning today.
Yeah, we are learning.
We learning today.
So absolutely. So that's on the training side too, especially with helping like employers and leaders recognize people of different backgrounds. So it's on the one side with training in accent modification to switch it into the dialect of wherever you're living. And then on the other side, with the employer side, it's like, okay, this person is from this country. They may or may not say something that sounds like XYZ.
Yeah.
So it's both ends.
Okay. And that's important, and it's something that I wish I had before, because there was a point in time where I worked at this summer program at Yale.
Okay.
It was the Summer Institute for the Gifted is what it was called. And they had a bunch of international students. And by international, it was just Chinese students. Really.
Yes, that was UConn. The same thing at UConn.
It was just Chinese students. And the first day we had to separate them into groups and like get to know the kids we're responsible for. And I promise you, it was so hard for me to understand them.
Right.
And even just reading their names, I'm like, okay, how do I pronounce this? I don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
Yeah. And then they would give their American name and I'm trying to remember the names, but I can't really hear the names. So like, I really wish I had that before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then even just knowing different things that are communicated in other languages. So for example, in Korea, there's a lot of sounds in English that don't exist over there. So like the R sound, things like that, they can't even produce it, even if, they really tried, unless they had the accent modification therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't think about, that a sound we make every day just does not exist somewhere else.
Exactly. It just doesn't happen.
This is like, I know I'm interviewing you, but I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, I'm learning this right now. Like, okay, wow, they don't have R's.
Yeah, it's hard. So when I was in grad school, I went to Pace University, and a lot of our clients that came to the clinic when we did our clinical rotations, all that stuff, they were international students, and a lot of them were from Korea. And we had to teach them how to make different sounds. And the biggest one was the R sound. And there's two different ways you can make the R sound. So there's like the R forward, there's the R lateral, which is like from both sides. And it's hard. You have to learn how to kind of roll your tongue in a certain way to make the R. But not like I can't do the actual R like when you're speaking Spanish, but the American R, I guess, not the rolling of the R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now when you're working with people, do you find that English is probably one of the hardest languages to learn?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
English is so hard. Like the word exit, it's EXIT.
Yeah, but it's got like a G kind of sound.
EGGZIT. Like it's, and then the past tense and future tense. It's like read, read. It's spelled the same way, but then you have the color red. So honestly, I give people a lot of props for learning English.
There's I forgot what page it was, but it probably popped up in your algorithm, and there was a dude explaining how to read these different languages and why English doesn't make sense. And there's like no with a K and then no just N-O.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you know what? If we used it logically, we should be saying it different. But like the context is just so weird. English is a strange language.
It's so strange. And even that word, there's no and then there's now. But to somebody that doesn't know English, you're like, okay, take off the K, then it should still be no, but it's not no. It's now. Yes.
English, man.
English. It's crazy. It's a crazy language.
So now with speech and language pathology, you were working in a hospital before, you said?
In nursing homes.
In nursing homes. Okay. And now you're transitioning into having your own business.
Yes.
Being a businesswoman. This is what you do. This is the bread and butter. How has that transition been for you? And what are you learning along the way?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. It has been interesting to say the least. It is a journey for sure. I think from the beginning, just deciding that you want to be independent. Yeah. And when you finally realize, and like, it's for me, I was getting a call from, higher power, God, universe. I believe in God a lot of people, whatever you believe in.
Yeah, they'll throw different names.
They'll throw different names. I believe in God. God was giving me a call. And it would happen every single day. I was at work and I would get this call. And it's like a nudge at me that I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when you feel it, you feel it.
And you feel it hard. It's like a boulder is being thrown at you. And if you don't listen, it's like he throws a house. But I always tell people, if you don't listen, he throws a pebble, then he throws a rock, then he throws a house.
Yeah.
That's it. So eventually, I listened and I said, okay, I really think this is the direction I'm supposed to go in. But even the decision of not working for somebody else and now wanting to work for myself, it's like such a big identity shift because you have to go from, okay, this person has been giving me my paycheck. It's consistent every single week, whatever the number is.
You know it's going to be there.
You know what your bills are. Yeah. Exactly. And then you realize, I'm not getting paid from somebody this Friday. Like, I need to go out and make my own money.
Yeah.
So there's that part of it. And then you have to shift your identity to know that you can be successful no matter what happens. Like, even if things don't turn out exactly as you wanted them to, you have to keep reminding yourself, like, this is where I'm supposed to be at this moment. And I think a lot of it too is being present in the moment because like when you think about the future too much, you get lost. And then when you think about the past and like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, then you also get lost, but then you get kind of sad.
Yeah, because it's like, dang, I shouldn't have did this. I should have just kept doing what I was doing.
Exactly. And then it's uncomfortable. It's like feelings in your belly and your body uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, like maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I woke up and I was just like, what am I doing? Like asking myself, girl, like what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you meet people and you think they're going to be clients, but then they're not clients. And then
that's hard, especially in the beginning.
Oh my goodness. And I think the most important part is separating yourself from the outcome. So if you think something's going to happen and it doesn't happen, it's like, okay, this is because, let's say this person just either couldn't afford the service right now or they don't have time for it versus they have a problem with me. And versus maybe I shouldn't have said this or maybe I shouldn't have gave that price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny you brought that up. I was talking to my therapist about that the other day, literally yesterday, actually. And he was like, yeah, the outcome doesn't mean you failed.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you weren't good enough. It doesn't mean that like you aren't good at what you do. It just means that wasn't the person for you or that wasn't the client for you or that event. Like there's just something you can learn for next time.
Yes.
So separating yourself from the outcome is great advice.
It's huge. And learning, just like you said, learning from everything that happens, whether it's good or bad. Just learn from it and be like, okay, well, what can I do next time that's a little bit different? That might work. It's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Trial and error.
Everywhere.
For sure. Every single day, like trial and error.
And it's like, do you notice now that you work for yourself that you work more?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It just does not turn off.
No, it doesn't turn off at all. You're in bed and you're like, oh, shoot, I should have did this. And then another thing also that I heard from one of my mentors, I mean, I listen to podcasts, I read so many books. Reading books is very important too. It's like if you want to do something, don't wait until the next day. Don't be like, oh, like I could send this email tomorrow or I could call this person tomorrow.
Yeah, get on it.
They said the most successful people are like urgency. If it's 10 p.m. and you think about a person you should send an email to, send them the email. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just make it happen.
Yeah, because if you're passive, then there's no success. It's like if you wait until tomorrow, somebody else already sent that message at 10 o'clock the night before.
Yeah.
So urgency is very important.
So now with this entrepreneurial life and everything that's taking place in your life, how do you balance business owner, social life, just having your own personal time and just growing in between? How do you balance all of that?
Oh my gosh, it's hard. It is hard. It's like I go through phases where I told myself, okay, I'm just going to focus on my business and that's it. Like if I have to say no to this event, no to that event, it's fine because I'm going to come out on the other side. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks into that, I was like, where are my friends?
So what's going on?
Or my friends would text me and they'd be like, girl, are you okay? Like, I haven't heard from you in like 2 weeks. Like, are you doing okay? And I had 3 friends text me on the same day.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you guys have a group chat before this?
Like, are y'all talking about me right now?
You know what I mean? And then one friend was like, yeah, girl, we were like trying to find you. But it's hard because you think about it and you're like, okay, well, if I split my time here, here, and here, what's the time going to be for my business? And like, that's your primary focus. So what I started doing was like, I would just tell people, you know, I'm busy right now, but I'm gonna get back to you on Saturday. Like, stuff like that, so that people don't think you forgot about them. And then you also kind of keep those connections.
Absolutely.
Because they always say, you know, it's very important to have the balance. But when you first start out, it's like there's no balance.
It's like all business at first.
Exactly. There's like no balance. So what I do is, let's say like Saturday or Sunday, I go through my phone and I'm like, okay, what messages did I not respond to?
Yeah, who do I need to get back to right now?
Exactly. Or, you know, sometimes even like a quick text in between calls, kind of like, hey girl, like I'm alive. Or, you know, you text your mom or your cousin and you're like, yeah, like I'm okay, don't worry about me.
Yeah.
And then on the weekend you can kind of follow up with them.
Okay.
Yeah, but the balance and the personal like happiness balance is also hard. But the way that I try to balance that out is like when I was working full time, I would come home every Friday and drink some wine, order some food, and have like a dance party, me and my dog. That's what I did every single Friday.
Self-care at its finest.
That was my self-care, yeah. And it like brightened up. I look forward to it every week. So I was like, okay, I need to keep doing that. So it's like if you do one thing, I think it helps. Even if it's like once a week, like my once a week dance party, that makes me happy.
Yeah. Just as long as you're doing something for you.
Exactly.
It's big.
Yeah, it's huge. Because you take away everything from yourself in order to do the business.
Yep.
But then you lose yourself trying to grow the business. So the business is great, but then where are you?
Where are you personally? Like what's happening to you personally?
Yeah.
Now, sidebar, you mentioned food.
Yes.
And you may know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So in your story a while back, probably last year, you had pumpkin everything.
Everything pumpkin.
And
yes,
you know, like
I'm
cool with pumpkin season. There's a season for everything.
Yes.
But you had Alfredo sauce.
My pumpkin Alfredo.
Pumpkin flavor. I try not to judge.
This is like the 3rd time you asked me about this pumpkin.
I got to do it for the people. It's only because the cameras is on.
Oh my goodness.
Why? Just like, is it good?
Because
do you really believe it's good?
Delicious.
Delicious?
Yes, you have to be a pumpkin lover to appreciate the pumpkin Alfredo. And I'm saying this also for the camera. So I'm a lover of pumpkin. I was also born in the fall. I was born on Halloween.
Okay, so that's your time.
My whole soul, you know,
you come alive in the fall.
Yes, I come alive as soon as like end of September hits. It's my season until like middle of December. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I don't care if it snows in the middle of November. It's still fall.
Yeah.
But no, you have to be a lover of pumpkin to love the pumpkin Alfredo. But have you ever had like it's like a squash like ravioli or anything like that? Okay, so you know the flavors.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of flavors. You just add a little bit of Alfredo.
I'm just imagining the pumpkin with the cheesiness of the.
Yes, but it's so blended. And you know, it's Trader Joe's. You know, I love me some Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's do be here.
I can't
they got
get
some
Alfredo
things
from
in there.
anywhere else. I would get it from Trader Joe's. Yes, I wouldn't go buy pumpkin Alfredo from like Stop and Shop.
I see, yeah, something that's special. I'm not getting it from Stop and Shop. The generic version, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, you can't do it. But it's delicious. It tastes just like a squash. Have you ever had like pumpkin soup or like a squash fall soup?
Yeah,
it's just like that. Those soups are creamy.
I take your word for it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna come around to buying it, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
Have somebody else buy it and then just taste it.
All right.
But it tastes the same as like a squash autumn soup, but on pasta. Because those soups, they put a little bit of heavy cream in there.
Okay. Do they? Really?
They do, yeah. For real? You can just get it all creamy like that. They add a little bit of cream.
I thought it was just the way they blended it or something.
No, they put cream in there. They put cream, they put spices. Some of them put like tomato sauce. Yeah.
We learning new things today.
Exactly.
Not just speech wise, but in food wise. I'm expanding my palate.
So come how long we got till October?
It's coming up fast, yo.
Yeah, it is.
Do you feel like the older you get, the faster time moves?
Absolutely.
It's like you blink and the year just be done.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe we're already in the second half of the year.
Yes. Oh
my goodness.
Like it's about to be September in like 2 days.
Exactly.
Back to school.
And I'm
school
like,
buses,
where
all
are
that.
my goals? Like what did I I set in January.
He said my resolutions, I haven't met them.
Oh my gosh. And I was just sharing on my Instagram story, I think it was yesterday after I went to the gym, about like second half is the best half.
Yeah.
So I was sharing with everybody because, you know, like when you go to a baseball game, basketball, whatever, second half is always the best half.
Yeah. That's
so
where it starts
like,
heating up.
Exactly. So people need to find that in themselves and be like, you know, if I haven't accomplished my goals in the first 6 months of the year, that same energy that you put into watching all these famous people on TV, like, oh my God, I hope he wins.
Yeah.
Put that into yourself and be like, okay, second half is the best half of my life, not the best half of this celebrity's life that I don't even know about. Like,
that they don't even care about you.
Exactly.
Don't know you exist.
And I'm all about, you know, watching games and all that stuff, but I've never been one of those people that's like obsessed with a celebrity. I really don't even know what's going on in like the Hollywood
I promise
life.
you I don't.
At all.
Until someone tells me about it, but I really
Exactly.
don't pay attention to it.
My friends would be like, oh, you heard so and so. Girl, no. I just found out the other day that like one of the Kardashians has like 4 kids. I was like, when did she have all these 4 babies? And 4 babies, one is like 7 years old. I'm like, how in the world?
So when was she pregnant?
You know what I mean? I have no idea. But the energy that people put into other things need to put into themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So now bringing it all full circle, we talk career, we talk life balance and all these different things. And with all those things considered, let me ask you this. Who is Lachana?
Oh my gosh, such a big question. And I have a big answer.
Let's do it, man.
All right,
That's what we're here
time.
for. Big questions, big answers.
Oh my goodness. So this version of me, because I feel like a lot of people, we go through seasons of our life. And I'm saying this version of me because it's this version of me right now. I might not be the same person tomorrow. I might not be the same person next year. But it took a long time to get to where I am now.
Yeah.
And I say that because last year, it was a very hard year for me. So I went through like loss of a relationship. I lost my grandfather within the same week that everything happened.
That's heavy.
It was very, very heavy. If we were doing this right now in July, like I probably would have been crying. But now you see like life is so different. And it's crazy because a lot of people don't know that like what I went through because right now they see me smiling, they see me happy.
Yeah, you don't look like what you went through.
Exactly. Thank God we don't look like what we've been through because, you know, it could be so much different. But right now, me as Lachana, she's a woman of God. She is deep rooted in her spirituality, which I had to kind of return to last year when all that stuff was happening to me.
Gotta bring you back, man.
Oh my gosh. Again, the older in the house.
Yeah.
It is like, I think I lost sight of him the past maybe 4.5, 5 years of my life. And only because some of the people that I was around, they didn't believe in him, like to that extent. Yeah. And my family, they always taught us about believing in God. You know, we went to church, all that stuff. And it more felt like routine.
Yeah,
than like,
a
okay, I'm
relationship.
choosing to go to church. You know what I mean? So I never was around a lot of people that we were always talking about God and how great he is and all that stuff. So I kind of lost him. And, you know, July 2022, he came and slapped me. He was like, girl, I'm going to put you through this so that you have to find your way back. And that's exactly what happened. So I started meditating, praying more, journaling, spending like my nights literally just sitting there talking, receiving. And I think that really has been what changed me. And I've always been a big family girl. Yeah. So I love my family. It's like my safe space. Besides myself being my safe space, my family means like the world to me.
Family is important.
Absolutely. For sure. My friends are really important to me too. So most of my friends by now it's like 10, 15 years. So we're just
y'all
family.
Locked in. Y'all locked in.
We're locked in. Yeah. So it's like, you know, no matter what happens, we're here for each other. It doesn't matter. But definitely like my spirituality, my happiness, my mentality. Like I just feel like I'm a trailblazer. That's what I'm gonna say. Lachana is a trailblazer. That's who she is. Okay. She is making moves. She's deciding what she wants for her life. You know, I have like a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan of what I want my life to look like. And I'm just doing everything that I need to get there.
We love to see it, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we said before, you don't look like what you've been through.
Absolutely not.
And, you know, social media, like we see the highlights of everything. But a lot of that, what we've seen from you was a credit to the work you do behind the scenes. Yes. So how important is it for anyone else out there who's going through something similar to what you've been through? How important is it to continue to do that work on yourself?
Oh my gosh, it's so important. It's like, I can't even put a number on it.
Yeah.
If there was like a billion, trillion, gazillion, like that's the percentage.
The highest number
The
we could think
highest
of.
number ever of how important it is to heal yourself from like anything. It doesn't have to be like a relationship with a significant other. It could be friendships. I have a friend that like she had a falling out with a lot of her friends recently. And I looked at her because she was so sad about it. You know, she was really down, feeling alone. And I was like, girl, you are never alone.
Yeah.
Like, number one, you have God. Number two, you always have yourself. So I think a lot of people, they kind of like skip that step.
A lot of people aren't used to being with themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, even after some people come out of a relationship, they're like, okay, well, who can I go meet next? And it's kind of like,
yeah,
you need to get comfortable within
so
yourself.
you need to meet yourself next.
Exactly.
You need to calm down.
That's exactly what needs to happen. So I like forced myself to be by myself. I was like, I ain't gonna have no man's in my phone. Like, I still talk to my friends, but I needed to take that time to just be with myself and find myself again, so that when the time comes for me to meet somebody, it's gonna be like, okay, well, I know me, you know you, now we can get to know each other.
Yeah, now we can start this from a healthier place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of people skip it. And it's so important for them to really sit down with themselves. And like, even if you're not spiritual, although I do feel like, you know, humans are all spiritual beings. And I do feel that, you know, meditation at the minimum and like journaling at the minimum is 1,000% necessary. But I don't push it on anybody, like, you know, whatever they want to do with themselves. But they need to go through it. Like, you can't skip the process now because it's going to show up like 3 years later.
Yo.
Then you're going to be like, why am I crying about this? Or why am I crying at all? And then you realize, wow, I never really healed from what happened to me.
You didn't cry 3 years ago.
And you know what I mean?
And now
like,
you're crying now.
But people are afraid to like face what happened to them. And I have a life coach. She's great. If anybody needs a life coach, DM, let me know. She's been amazing, and like, I really don't think I could have gotten through what I went through without her last year. And she told me, like, you just have to feel your feelings.
Yes.
And whenever something comes onto you, like, if you want to cry, just cry. My aunt actually, you know, she's still grieving like the loss of my grandpa, which is her father. And the other day, for Father's Day, she told me that she was just like feeling sad. But then she kind of like ignored it, and she said, "Oh, but you know, other people have it worse."
Can't do it.
Exactly. So I told her, I said, if you don't let yourself cry now, you're gonna be crying like 10 years from now. You gotta let yourself feel it, and then be like, okay, I'm sad now, but it's gonna be fine. Like, you can't cry forever. You don't got that much water in your eyes.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not enough water in your body to be crying forever.
There's not enough water to cry. Like, so I would be on my way home. I'd hear a certain song. I'd be crying. And then I'd be like, all right, by the time I make it to exit 16, like, I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I'll get off the exit. I'm good.
You know, you get up, you go home, and then you're like, okay, that was fine.
So that wasn't so bad.
Exactly. And shoot, the tears, you know, it kind of helped me out. Like, I don't know, maybe the water from my eyes helped my skin or something.
Yo, it's good for the skin. It's
now the skin is glowing. So
part
I'm
of
like,
the
okay.
routine.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, so important though to definitely go through the whole thing.
Yes.
And share with people. People like to be like very private about things.
Yeah, and just isolate themselves with it.
Yes. And I believe that you don't need to share your whole story with the world.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people, because I started to share my journey of everything in like September, I think, on Instagram. And so many women messaged me and they were like, oh my God, I'm going through something similar. You know, thank you so much for talking about this. Like, not a lot of people discuss it. And it's like, why? But you know, you'll like see somebody happy, and then all of a sudden they just stop posting.
Yeah, it just
and then
disappears.
they pop up like a year later. And it's like, I don't know why people don't share, because the more vulnerable we are with each other, the more we can learn from each other.
Absolutely.
But people, like, you know, there's shame around it. There's like all this other stuff that happens to people. But I'm like, just share.
There's so much strength in vulnerability.
Oh my gosh.
And you make it easier for the people around you.
Exactly.
Yeah, some people need that example. They have to see it and be like, oh man, I'm not alone.
Right.
But if we all just only show people the positives, we're going to feel alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you end up not going through and healing what you have to go through.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. And then it's just like seeing somebody else going through it is so important, because you're like, okay, she's happy now. Her skin is glowing now. She's living her best life. And like a couple months ago, you know, I saw how she was. Like, she was crying. She was doing all this other stuff. So if she could do it, then I could do it.
Absolutely.
And that's how I look at it. I'm like, what's her name? That celebrity. What celebrity I do follow? Tia Mari's sister.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she went through her divorce and everything last year. She was with him. You know, they have kids, all that stuff.
All of that. Yeah.
So I was like, if she could do it, I could do it. Like, she's living her best life now. You know
there's
what I
happiness
mean?
on the other side of this.
Exactly. And I always say, like, the other side of fear is not more fear at all. There's
Because
no
you're already
way.
facing it.
Yeah, exactly. God is not going to have you be scared now and have you make a big decision. And then after you make the decision, you're scared again. It doesn't work like that. You know, it's kind of like the law of attraction, the law of gravity, like they work a certain way.
Yeah.
You're not going to be scared in like July 2023, make a big decision, and then be scared again in December.
Yeah. You're only afraid of the things you don't do.
Exactly. And the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, complacency. I can
What
talk about that
grips
for
people?
3 hours. It does grip people. People are so afraid of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't realize until you actually do it, like the unknown is the best
The
time
unknown
of
is
your
lit.
life.
It's lit.
Oh my God,
Because
the
you're just
unknown.
figuring it out.
Absolutely.
And it kind of takes you back to a place when you were a kid.
Yes.
And you were able to just try things without fear of what comes from it. You just tried it.
Exactly.
And in your adult years, I feel like everybody just has to find that thing again or find themselves that way again where you just try things.
Yes, they
and
do.
you just give it a try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you tried.
Exactly. And you know, it's like you're going to fail if you don't try.
It's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed
the results
failure.
are guaranteed if you don't try.
Exactly. Like it's guaranteed failure. And finding your inner child is so important too.
Mm-hmm.
My same life coach, she's amazing. I'm gonna just keep shouting her out. But she I did oh my gosh, what is it called? It's like a meditation with her of finding my inner child. And like when you see
that stuff I've done that before.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Started crying. I'm like, oh my God.
Everywhere. Because you see yourself like as a kid and you're kind of talking to yourself when you were a child.
Yeah.
And then to tell the child like, or the child tell you, you know, everything's going to be okay. Like it's fine. It's just like you want to protect yourself as a kid because it's that inner part of you that's like hurting and grieving or whatever else. But when you have yourself tell yourself that you're going to be okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Can't nothing stop you after that.
No, exactly. I love that inner child work. Oh my gosh.
Man.
It's so great.
So now let me ask you this. This is going to be the last question. I love saving this one for the end. Looking at that inner child, looking at young Lachana about yay high, what is one piece of advice you would give that version of yourself?
Oh my gosh. There's so much. I think I would tell her to, as cliche as it sounds, believe in herself. I think that's the biggest thing because it's like a lot of the decisions that we make or we don't make is because of the belief in ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. Like one person doesn't have more favor from the universe to make them successful than another person. You know what I mean? Like nobody's stamped like, oh, at birth you're going to be successful, you're not going to be successful, all that stuff.
Yeah, you're going to be a failure. You're not
exactly.
going to be a failure.
But the people that are successful is because they believe in themselves. So I think I would tell her like literally no matter what, like if you are in the middle of 95 and there's 2 trucks next to you and you got to find your way out, like believe in yourself and then everything else is going to work.
Man, I love that. This interview has been great, man.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, no, you've been dropping some gems on the people, man.
I'm so
sitting here
happy.
soaking it in like, I'm going to play this back. I got to.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. And I love talking about this stuff because people just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
At all.
We need more conversations like this.
Yes. One of these days, and I have a goal of like, I would just want to be on a stage in front of like a bunch of people and host like a weekend long, like self-love mindset manifestation conference.
Listen, we could connect.
We should
We'll
do
find
it.
a way to make that happen.
Absolutely.
We will find a way to
3
make that happen.
3 days of like just finding yourself again.
Stamp it now. It's on tape. We
All
got
right,
it.
good. We got it. It's over
happening.
here
If
too.
you don't
It's
see it
on.
happen, hold us accountable, please.
We definitely got to do it. You know, we can have a yoga teacher, a Reiki. I don't know if you know Reiki.
Yeah.
Reiki healer. Oh my gosh, it'll be great.
So now, just to wrap it all up, where can people find you again and connect with you?
So you can find me corporatespeechcoach.com, corporate speech coach on Instagram. Personal Instagram is at Hey Lachana, so it's H-A. Wow, I can't spell today.
Oh, man.
Speech therapist, I can't spell. HEYLACHANA. And LinkedIn, Lachana Flanders, corporate speech coach. That's where you can find me.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
until next
having
time,
me.
everybody, this is Daily Dimensions. Peace.